There is a very specific punishment in Hollywood, and it only happens to people who are extremely good at their job. If you're mediocre, nothing happens to you. You work, you vanish, you work again. But if you're great, the industry takes that as an instruction and makes it your identity. So, did Karl Urban ever get out of that? Or did he just build himself a bigger version of the same cage? You see, on paper, Billy Butcher should not work. I mean, he's rude and he lies to everyone who trusts him. He uses people and then abandons them. Sometimes it looks like he's right, but most of the time he's actually wrong. And you root for him anyway. So do I. The writing helps, obviously. But what's actually happening is a performance holding grief and comedy in the same face at the same time, which is one of the hardest things there is. Butcher is funniest right before he does something unforgivable. He's most sympathetic when he's lying to you. Karl Urban plays a man who decided that becoming a monster was the fastest available route to being a good person, and then plays every second of what that costs him. Now, don't get me wrong, Butcher is the best thing in the whole show, and that's exactly why it became Karl's identity. Like I said, if you're mediocre, nothing happens to you. Nobody in history has ever been typecast as a character they were mediocre in, and that brings the question of what typecasting really is. You see, typecasting sounds like a scheduling problem. It isn't. It's a memory problem, and the memory is yours. Here's how it works. An actor plays a role well enough that the character becomes the actor's reference. So typecasting eats actors who play one enormous role. That becomes understandable and predictable, which is what makes this case strange, because Karl Urban should have been immune. For 20 years, his actual job was being unrecognizable. For example, he was Éomer in Lord of the Rings, under a wig and a helmet. He was Vako in the Riddick films, which most people never watched, including me. He was Bones McCoy across 3 Star Trek films, doing an impression of a man who died in 1999. He was also Scourge in Thor for a bit. Until he put on a leather coat and said one word in a London accent. Oi. And all of it evaporated. Now, the coat was never the trap. The trap was what happened when he tried to take it off. Johnny Cage is an arrogant Hollywood action star, and he's also an idiot if you think about it. Fans had been fantasy casting him, and they had an extremely clear picture of what he looked like. For years, the frontrunner was The Miz from WWE. The Miz wanted this part so badly that when his name started trending worldwide, he went on a podcast and confirmed out loud to an interviewer that he had been working on his splits and his kicks, just in case.
I want to play Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat. I have been working on my splits. I've been working on my kicks.
Have you actually been working on your splits?
100%. As soon as I saw that Mortal Kombat was out and there was no Johnny Cage yet, and my name was literally trending worldwide #1, we want Mrs. Johnny Cage, I was like, if they want that to happen, I need to basically make sure that I am prepared and ready, that if that opportunity presents itself, then I will be ready and focused.
Mortal Kombat's own co-creator was on board with it. Ryan Reynolds also got a fan cast. It was more like everybody had a guy. Until Warner Brothers announced they had hired Karl Urban, and the reaction from fans was insane. People mainly had a problem with his age, which is quite polite if you ask me. He was 50 at the time, and Johnny Cage gives the vibe of a much younger person. My favorite complaint was when a large number of people said Karl Urban shouldn't play Johnny Cage, but play Kano instead. Here's what nobody saw coming. They cast him as Johnny Cage 20 years after the main timeline. The version in the film is kind of washed up because his career is over and his martial arts have rusted. Urban's own description is that the guy has neglected everything he used to be good at, has no connection left to what he's supposed to be doing, and is, his word, sloppy. So the character is a professional fighter who has forgotten how to fight, and a movie star nobody wants to hire. Which means the assignment handed to Karl Urban was to play as a bad actor on purpose.
Is not the sort of bombastic, cocky Johnny Cage that we're all used to, and that we all love in the games. This is a character who is downtrodden, is dispirited, his career is in the tank, he's neglected his martial arts skills, and it's this very juncture that he gets called upon by Raiden and Sonya to defend Earth in Mortal Kombat. And to me, I just thought that was such an incredible, fertile place to start.
He's since called it the most challenging role of his career, which sounds like he just want to say it until you actually read the job description. He had to be unconvincing and at the same time be embarrassing. Nobody has ever won an award for this, and there is no category for this. And maybe somehow it worked. Because when the film came out, the broad verdict was that he was the best thing in it, and that the movie visibly sagged whenever he wasn't on screen.
Oh, Johnny Cage!
Now, this makes me ask, did he escape Billy Butcher? Or did they build him a room he already fit inside? Because when you look at what actually happened, the complaint was that Urban was too old and too rough-edged to be Johnny Cage. And the film's solution was to write a version of Johnny Cage who is older, which starts to look less like an actor conquering a role, and more like a role getting quietly renovated around an actor. What's crazy is, Johnny Cage was supposed to be in the first Mortal Kombat film in 2021, but he got cut. The director's explanation was that Cage has such an enormous personality and that everything in the movie would end up orbiting him. The screenwriter was more specific. They already had a loud, sarcastic bastard occupying that space in the group, so Cage had nowhere to stand. That loud, sarcastic bastard was Kano, by the way, the exact character the internet said Karl Urban should have played instead. So, the role gets cut for being too big, then comes back smaller, older, and maybe more broken, then gets handed to the one man on Earth whose entire public identity is being a sarcastic bastard. Or even better, Butcher. I honestly don't know which way to read that. I don't think anyone does. So, the question again is, did Karl Urban escape Billy Butcher? And the answer in my perspective is no. And I'll go further than that, because I don't think he should have taken this one. While he was the best thing in the film, it doesn't mean he played the right role. Kano was already the best fit for him. But I've come round to thinking the question is even broken, because escaping Billy Butcher was never the win condition. The actors who never get typecast are the ones you can't name. There's no cage around them, because there's nothing to build one out of. Nobody has ever been permanently trapped by a performance that didn't land. Getting typecast requires being unforgettable first. It's the bill that shows up afterwards. The internet spent 2 years being wrong about whether he could pull this off. I'd say they were wrong about that, and right about everything else. Anyways, that'll be it for this one. I've created a playlist for the breakdown of most Mortal Kombat characters, and I will be doing more breakdowns outside the Mortal Kombat universe, so hit the subscribe button and stay tuned. Also, you can make a request down in the comments, and I'll be here to check them out. I'm Joe, and I'll see you in the next one.